Good afternoon, evening, morning, whatever it is that you're joining us. We're just glad you're here. Thank you for being here for this show of what to expect. Going to be a little different than what I usually do. I usually am in front of the TV here, just kind of showing some different things with film, different plays, all that good stuff. Um, or just talking about what actually happened in the game post game. But this is going to be a mixture of what to expect exactly from Missouri's offense and their defense. This is who Carolina's playing this weekend. And how exactly can you fix it, or what do you need to do to fix it, or beat this, if you will. But before we get started, got a little sponsor again, kind of self-promoting thing. If you are trying to have get any kind of real estate need taken care of, whether that's help buying or selling your own home, getting a square footage verification, getting an appraisal done, see how much your home costs, whatever the case may be, do not hesitate to call the Palmetto Success Team for all of your real estate needs. Owner Frankie Griffin and myself can help you with whatever you need. Again, that is the Palmetto Success Team. Don't be afraid to reach out. There you go. This show is brought to you by the Palmetto Success Team. Let's dive straight into it because, like we try to do here more times than not, is get you out of here in 15, 20 minutes. So let's jump straight into this Missouri offense. Again, if you follow us over on Twitter, you have seen a lot of this already. And that Twitter at Joseph Griffin JG. First things first, the middle of the field better be ready for South Carolina's defense. And they need to. Start with that nickel position along with the linebackers and the safeties because this team loves attacking the middle of the field, and they love doing so with Luther Burden. Lines up in the slot, I want to say 90-95% of the time. Now, they move them everywhere. Don't get me wrong. And we're going to show you that a little bit here in just a second when we get to the tape to show you. They move them everywhere, but they love attacking the middle of the field. Matter of fact, I don't know. I don't have the exact statistic on it, but I'm willing to bet you at least 75-80% of their offensive production comes from the middle of the field. So you can expect that. You can expect Luther Burden to be absolutely everywhere in Saturday's game. So those are the first two things. The next thing you have to be able to pay attention to and watch, and I don't know if I have this clip or not. I hope I do. They love a lot of delayed tight end action. Now, there's a lot of offenses that come out and have the run chip and do all that. But they when I say they over there at Missouri, couple plays where it didn't look like it was just a chip, like it was like a delayed 1-2 hold the block. Now I'm gone, and there was nobody to defend them. You have several offenses that run those arch releases with your tight ends, but several times they did some delayed stuff with the tight end, so that's something you should watch out for as well. But the other big thing that you can expect, Brady Cook is going to use his legs. And I think that's what makes this game so dangerous for Carolina's defense because they have their issues with the passing. But because the linebackers are going to have to help in the middle of the field, especially with how they use Luther Burden in the middle of the field, it's kind of scary to think about because you're going to have discipline and not getting too far away because Brady Cook can use his legs. But if you get too sunk in to worrying about Brady Cook, Luther Burden's going to beat you. So there's a lot of different avenues for this Missouri team to attack you off defensively, but that's what you can expect. Luther Burden in the middle early and often. Brady Cook uses legs, and you better pay attention to those tight ends because they like doing stuff with them, especially delayed. Now, on the defensive side, I put a tweet out about this, or X out about it. I don't know what you would call it anymore these days. But Missouri's defense is good. Don't get me wrong. They are good, but they're sneaky, can be beat bad, if that makes sense. I don't want to call them bad because they do things good. However, they can be scored on and you can move the ball against them. And you don't necessarily have to have the best offensive line to do it because I don't personally think LSU is one of those, but they scored a lot. Now, am I saying you have to be that? No, but that's the game that best resembles what's probably going to happen this weekend, right? It's probably going to be a first to 40 kind of game. I would like to be wrong, and there's things that you can do to potentially not let that happen. However, execution is a big part of that, right? But on the defensive side of things, they get after the quarterback. I think they have like 19 sacks or like top 20 in the nation of getting to the quarterback. But if you have a quarterback that can run, now when I say run, improvise and sure, that helps 100% of the time. But design runs have really beaten this Missouri defense, and I'm gonna show you one. I think it was Leary that the clip that I have, but Daniels beat him up and down the field. I think he had like over 100 rushing yards. And even Kansas State's quarterback, while the stats will show you he did not have many yards, a lot of that had to do with the sack numbers. So Spencer Rattler can avoid being sacked. But again, be able to use his legs could be a game changer. So there's that. The running quarterback kind of gets some play action. Also hurts this team. They sink in a lot. They draw into the play action a lot, which leaves a lot of one-on-one coverages. Now, they have all the confidence and faith in their corners. They're two very, very, very good corners, right? But you kind of have to like your chances with Xavier Legette. I don't know if Xavier Legette has lost a one-on-one battle downfield when the ball's thrown to him. But you have to like that a lot, honestly. So the play action, something I noticed that beats them a lot. Quarterbacks that can use their leg is something that beats them a lot. But another thing is their blitz scheme. Now, when I say this, I'm not really positive if they're doing this on purpose or if they just can't help it. They're not very good at disguising their blitzes at all. Now, what they are good at is finding a weakness within your offense, your offensive line, a chip in the armor, if you will, and that's where the blitz is going to come from. And that's what kind of worries me a little bit with Lee possibly being out, or more than likely being out, and you have to go with Wanamaker or Fugar over there at right tackle, I'm assuming, is who South Carolina will go with. What worries me is they're going to find a way to attack that. Matter of fact, they did that against Kentucky, where they had their best pass rusher, and his name is escaping me right now, but it's number 8 for Missouri. Had their best pass rusher kind of lined up in the center of the linebacker position. He is a linebacker. And then if you have the right tackle here, like right tackle is facing you, I'm the right tackle. They had the defensive end right in front of me. They had a linebacker like a yard to the right, and then you had a corner that was clearly coming on the blitz and had no indication of hiding it. And they just attacked that right tackle. And they said, good luck trying to figure that out. They all tried to figure that out. Their best pass rusher at the linebacker position had a one-on-one with the center and worked him. And forced Leary, I believe, to make a careless throw and it turned into a turnover. I can't remember quite sure. But they find weaknesses and they attack it. So that is something that is a little bit concerning. So Loggins is definitely going to have to add in those tight ends and those running backs to chip, like they did against Florida more frequently and more often. And then the other thing that I noticed picking up that I don't know if I have a clip of this or not, I'm not completely prepared for this, and I apologize. We will get better as we go. Still trying to work around work schedule, all that good stuff. Not that y'all care about any of that. But running backs can have a field day in more than one way. I think Mario is going to have a successful day on the ground. They're going to have to rely on running to the left side of that behind Trey and Nick. They can have success on the ground. A lot of people have had a decent amount of success on the ground. What a lot of teams haven't really tried to utilize yet, which shocks me because on film, anytime a running back goes on a route, whether it be for a check down, a little hot route, whatever the case may be, they've been there. And it's just it just hasn't been taken. And when I say it's been there, like I mean, there's like a 5 to 7 yard minimum cushion between the linebacker or the safety or whomever Missouri has put on or given the responsibility to for the running back. They're nowhere close. And Kentucky kind of utilized it a little bit, right? It was like a 5 yard touchdown pass, but again, these linebackers don't do necessarily a good job of necessarily marking the running back. So that's something I would definitely look at watching and how Loggins uses them in the passing game because they use Mario a bit more. They use Juju and they use DeCarrion in this. So I'm very curious to see if he can get the running backs involved because if he can, that could just be another threat, another extension of the run game to get them out and get the ball and go. The exterior blocking still got to be good, but that's what you can kind of expect from the defense. So like they're going to come after you. They're going to attack your weak spot, which is kind of on the right side of that offensive line right now. They also don't really disguise. Again, I don't know if they do it on purpose or not, but they're not good at hiding their blitzes. When they come, they're coming. And then they are very vulnerable in pass play action, and they are very vulnerable to the running backs getting big games on them. But to kind of give you a little bit more indication what I'm talking about, we go to the board real quick and show you what I'm talking about. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is the offense, right? Told you need to watch for Luther Burden. They're going to put him everywhere. He just so happens to be in the slot here. More times than not, that's where you're going to see him. But they love attacking right up in you in the middle of the field. I mean, they absolutely love it. I'm telling you, you're going to have to watch it. From simple button hooks that they do all the time. They also do a whole bunch of deep overs or dovers, deep crosses. This part of the field is going to be extremely important this weekend. So this very first one that you're going to just see is you're just going to see Luther Burden. Be Luther Burden. You have a nickel on him. He's going to go out of the field here, but just makes a good catch. And that is what you're going to see, is they're going to put Luther Burden in places where he can win. The hardest part about this is, and you might be able to see this before he goes out of the tape. But what he does about right here is he fakes the slant because that's where they love getting him the ball is in the middle of the field because he has a lot of yak in the middle of the field. So if you watch, let's see if it comes. You could kind of see it right there. So he fakes it, boom, and then he just takes right off as soon as 14 jumps it. So again, they love attacking the middle field. That's where you're going to see Luther, and they love getting him in the middle of the field. This next one here, just showing you again, they're putting Luther in different places. You have to be aware where Luther Burden is. This time he's here. They just move him around. I'm not going to sit here and tell you Luther Burden is their offense, but 30 to 35% of their production in the receiving game has come from him. So, like Kentucky did, they limited him. However, they still put up 38 points. Now, there is a caveat to that, and I'll bring that up in just a second. But the other thing I wanted to do is show you the tight ends, like I was talking about. Where is he? Oh, no, this isn't the tight end. This is Luther Burden right here. He's in the backfield. And when he's been on the backfield, two things have happened. He's either come out on the wheel, or he's come out and did a Texas route, if you will. Boom, boom. This particular one, he happens to just be on the wheel route. But I'm showing you this because Brady Cook has done this more times than not. If Kilgore, DQ, whoever is playing safety Saturday night, he does this. He will lock on to Luther Burden, whether it's in the middle of the field, whether it's on the outside, and he will force a ball. It's up to you to be in the right spot. He will make turnovers or have turnovers. Again, using Luther Burden in different ways. If you haven't figured it out by now, look and see where Luther Burden is. I do not have that tight end clip. I might have to go find it real quick before. I'll find it at the end. Now, defensively, like I told you, they're not really. I'm just going to assume they're not a disguised blitzing team. They just send who they got, when they want, how they want. Obviously, these guys are coming in. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think this guy sits back, but they over pursue a lot, and I mean a lot, which makes the draw game that much easier. See, 5 shouldn't be coming around here, but he does anyway. But look, it's that easy. It's that easy. Just too much over pursuing from these two specifically. But if you can beat this team running the ball with Spencer Rattler. How much do you want to do that? Completely different subject. But you can do that with this team. Another one. This is just a picture. Again, they're not hiding it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 in the box. Now, I get it. You have the 2 here. But this, and this come. I believe he sits back because he's got tight end responsibility. But they sent it. Over here, again, they're not necessarily hiding it. Again, I know what you're in, but this guy winds up coming, and this guy's responsible for the running back. Another time, they ain't hiding it. Again, formations do matter. And I didn't have the time to screen record these for you. But they're not hiding it. This is what they kind of did similar on that play that I told you just a little bit about, where they attacked the weakness. Now, it was over here that they did it, but they essentially took these 3 and slid them over there. They get after it. What is this? Play action. Again, showed this on Twitter. Watch this. Boom, and up. Sunk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This dude's irrelevant, out of the play. So now you've got 1-on-1s everywhere on the field. And now Leary I don't know how you missed that. But again, I'm liking my chances. Play action beats this football team. Now, I don't necessarily think the run game has to be perfect to get to this or to be able to beat them. But you have to be somewhat consistent, okay? And that means running the ball. And I think you could do it, especially on the left side behind Trey and behind Tree Babalade, who's done a tremendous job. But that's kind of it right there. So final thoughts, final touches on what exactly was just said and how you beat it, right? How you beat this on defense, Carolina, is do your own job. And I know that sounds a whole lot like, well, duh. There's been a whole lot of Carolina worrying about, well, what's this guy doing over here? Well, this guy isn't where he's supposed to be, so I'm going to over pursue and get to that spot. No. Do your job. Stone blanket, whether it's Debo Williams, whether it's Pup Howard, whoever is playing in that linebacker core this weekend, you're more important than Nick Emmanwori, who I'm assuming is still going to be in that nickel position. You have got to be disciplined and making sure that you know who is around you and where Brady Cook is. Because I'm telling you, we're dropping back and we're just back to the quarterback thing is not helping, because the moment you turn around, and it happened twice in Florida against Blanket. They had that tight end come right around him, had no idea he was there, gone, took off. So you're extremely important, and Nick Emmanwori has to have the game of his life, to be quite frank. He did pretty dang good in Tennessee. You have to be able to kind of have that kind of game, right? But the biggest thing is you've got to get pressure, which you have not created a lot of this year. You've done better. Now, when I say pressure, I don't mean just hurrying them. That does you no good. Well, let me take a step back. Hurrying the quarterback helps. Putting the quarterback on the ground helps more. And you haven't done that this year consistently. You've gotten to them, you've gotten around them, but you haven't finished. You've got to do that. On the offensive side of the ball, You've got to not beat yourself. Kentucky figured that out real quick. Kansas State figured that out as well. Against the Kentucky game, you go back and watch it. 6 of Missouri's 3 of Missouri's 6 second half drives all started in Kentucky's half. And I believe they got either 14 or 17-ish points from it. And that was pretty much the difference in your ball game was Kentucky making mistakes and Missouri capitalized on it. Now, that is not sitting here telling you that Missouri is not a good team. They are. Good teams become great teams when they capitalize off things like that. And they did, and they can. You cannot beat yourself. Mario Anderson, Bubba, have a big game. Whoever is at right tackle, whether that be Wanamaker, whether that be Fugar, or whoever they put there. They might slide someone else out there. I'm not sure. You have to do better. You have to be better than what you were in the third and fourth quarter because a lot of pressure got in on that side that was not there when Lee was in the game. You have to step up. You have to be better. Easier said than done. I know. But play action is going to be there. Use it. The running back should be used. I'm not hating putting Juju in and getting him in some tunnel screens or involved in tunnel screens, as well as Amari Brown or Lewis. There are ways to beat this defense. You can't beat yourself. We will see you tomorrow on the pregame show, talking about the score predictions, talking about who's going to win, how you can win, all that good stuff. We'll see you tomorrow.